Okay, so this one's gonna be on how to install the MySQL Community Server Edition. So we're gonna go ahead and do this on Windows 7. So what you wanna do is you wanna go to this website. I'll go ahead and leave the link. But basically it's dev.mysql.com/downloads, and just look for the MySQL Community Server, and then just click on download. And once you've downloaded, then we can go ahead and get started. So let me find the download. Okay, so here we go. It should say MySQL installer web community. So we're gonna go ahead and install that. Cool thing about this one is you'll see in a little bit, it's gonna make it very easy to be able to install everything that everything and more actually that you will require to be able to run your SQL server. So okay, so it's gonna ask you if you want to allow this, so we're gonna click on yes. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the first screen is the license agreement. So if you want to go ahead and read this, it's quite long, but if you want to read it, go ahead. And then after that, we're gonna accept the terms. Click next. And then here it gives us options, so we can do the developer default, server only, client only, full. And if you click on this, it'll go ahead and give you the descriptions of what you're doing. If you only want the client, it's going to tell you what you're going to get. But for this one, we're going to go ahead and get the full installation. So if you want to just go ahead and install like just a server, that's really up to you. But we're going to go ahead and get everything. So let's go ahead and click next. Okay, so over here it's gonna go ahead and show you all these that require Visual 2015. So if you click on next, what you see is it says that it cannot be satisfied. So just click on yes, and then I'm gonna go ahead and go back. Oops, no, let me click next again. In here, and what we want to do is want to go ahead and execute. So when you execute, it's just gonna go ahead and install the dependency in case you don't have the Microsoft Visual C++ 2015. It's gonna go ahead and install it for you. Okay, so over here it's gonna give you the agreement to install the Microsoft Visual. So just go ahead and agree and click on install. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and execute. Now this will take a while because it's gonna go ahead and download many different things. As you see here, you're getting the SQL Server, the SQL Workbench, the MySQL shell. You're getting also the router, the connector, and quite a few things in here. Okay, so now that it's completed, it's we can click on show details over here, and it's gonna tell us all the information that we need in case you're interested in that. But anyways, basically after that, all you want to do is just go ahead and click on next, and now it's letting you know that MySQL server is ready to configure, samples and examples ready to configure. So let's go ahead and click on this one here, and we're gonna go ahead and click on next. And in here basically we're gonna go ahead and click next, and it says here, it gives us an option, it says development computer. We're gonna go ahead and leave it on development. If you want a server computer, you can click on that if you want to just to be dedicated. So if you read on this, it's gonna let you know what the differences are. So for this purpose, we're gonna use development computer, and we're gonna click on next, and we're gonna click on next. Okay, so in here it wants us to go ahead and create a MySQL root password. So we're gonna go ahead and create a root password. This password you should be able to remember because it's very important. So okay, so that one for some reason it doesn't like it. It's 2 weeks, so we're gonna go ahead and change that. So that's fine. Over here you can go ahead and add a user if you want. So username, for example, I'm gonna add my name in here, and then in here I'm just gonna put it under localhost. And then password, I can also give a password, which is gonna be just gonna make the same. And then click OK. There we go. So we got a user created, and we already got a root password. And then after that, we'll just go ahead and click on next. In here, it's asking you, or it's giving you some options. Basically, you can just go ahead and leave this by default if you want, but you can actually change the name. So by default, this server is going to be called MySQL 80. So okay, so then after that, we're just going to go ahead and click on next. In here, if you want to go ahead and enable this, I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to leave it as it is. So click next. Okay, so here we go. Now it's going to go ahead and start doing all this. So to do this, we're going to go ahead and click on execute. This will also take a while, so just be patient. So okay, so there we go. Everything was fine. If for some reason yours, like the first time that I installed it, kept getting stuck on where it said starting server and it wouldn't do it. So there's a simple fix for that. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and type in services over here. This is only if it's stuck. If it's not stuck, there's no need to do this. So, but if it's getting stuck, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and locate the where it says MySQL over here, and then more than likely it's not going to be like this. So you want to go ahead and go to properties and go to what is it under? No, under logon. You want to go ahead and change it to local system account. Okay, so that's what it was giving me. For some reason this time it's not giving me that issue, but if for some reason on your first try it gives you that issue, just go ahead and click on this and that should do it. So actually I'm just gonna go ahead and click on it like that and click apply, and then okay. So that's what happened last time. So in case you have that issue, you can go ahead and do that. So okay, so this one is the server is completed. If you want the router, for example, MySQL router, you can go ahead and configure. So we're gonna go ahead and click on that. I guess we're gonna actually no, I'm not gonna do the router this time. I'm just gonna go ahead and stick with the server because that's what it was. So we can just go ahead and click on next, and then after that is you see here is saying that MySQL server is running. So root and then the password, so we can go ahead and enter the password. There we go, connection succeeded. Click next. Checking if there's any features installed, any configuration, we can go ahead and do that if we want. So we can execute. One thing, if I'm gonna go ahead and show you over here. If you type, like right now, as you see, I didn't even type it, but MySQL shell's there, so you can actually use the shell. All these things are gonna be installed by default, so you don't have to worry about installing none of those things. Now we're gonna go ahead and click on finish, and I think we should be done. Alright, so then finish, and that's it. And if you click on this little deal here, oh well, there we go. So it's gonna give us the workbench, MySQL workbench, so you can start working on that. So I'm gonna close this up. It should have given me a little icon over here. For some reason it's not in there. Let me see if I can find it. So I'm gonna go to my SQL installer over here. Okay, so this one, for some reason this time it's not here. But you can always come over here and modify things, like if you want to modify or reconfigure. So let's go ahead and click on reconfigure. You can click next and just go back through it all. One thing over here, like if you type in the root password, like let me show you. Even though we know the root password for some reason last time, I don't know if it's, oh, it looks like this time there's no problem. Okay, so never mind. But if for some reason it's giving you errors, just go ahead and leave it empty and then click check and it'll give you a check mark. That's what happened last time, but this time everything seems to be working perfectly. So we're gonna click on next, click next, next, execute, and it'll go ahead and start doing everything again. So it'll be reconfiguring everything. This time it should be a little bit faster. So there we go, everything's fine. You have the log file if you want to see everything that happened. Okay, and if you click on some of these, like the workbench, if we want to modify it in here, for example, you have a few things that you can go through, like maybe there's a few things you don't want, like server data files. Maybe you don't, well actually you probably do want that. Let's say maybe the documentation you don't want, so you can click on that and then click next, and it'll go ahead and make those changes. If there's some things in here that you might not want, you can also just unclick this, for example, but I'm not gonna unclick that. So anyways, that's it. You have your MySQL server running. You have all these extra tools. You have the workbench. So let me show you some of the things that you're gonna have. Let's just type in SQL, or actually let's do MySQL. Okay, so you got the command line client. You got the, so let's click on this one. So there's your command line client. Of course you have to type in the password, so alright, and you can start using that. Okay, we're gonna close that. You have the regular MySQL shell. You can start working on that. And of course you got the MySQL workbench, so you can go ahead and get started with that. So that's it. So anyways, that's it for this one.